top and start at the bottom.
Kev, that's you? Yeah. Yeah, we just build you up, bro. What's up?
Come on, man.
No, we just build you up.
But why? I ain't got nowhere to go. I'm homeless, man.
We just go around bailing people out.
Nah, but where am I going? Come on, man. Why you bailing me out, though?
I'm saying we do like goofy bails and stuff. Relax.
I ain't got nowhere to go. I got nowhere to sleep. It's cold out here.
We gonna get you something to eat.
Find a place how you can get me back in there.
We gonna get you.
How you get me back in there? Yeah, it's interracial crime stats.
That's everything.
All right, we're moving right on along here. Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show, everybody. Keaton and Russ from Due Dissidence in for Jimmy while he is on the road in Australia. All right, so the plot just gets funnier and funnier here with this whole Epstein Files debacle. So here is Pam Bondi today when asked, so what are the next steps for the DOJ regarding the Epstein Files? Just to catch everybody up in case you missed it, House passed the vote 427-1. Senate passed the bill through unanimous consent. And so now the Epstein Files Transparency Act goes to the president's desk, where it is obviously essentially a foregone conclusion that it will be signed. And so that puts the ball once again in Pam Bondi's court. Doesn't that make you feel just great? Here she is answering what the next steps are.
Attorney General for the DOJ regarding what we assume President Trump will sign into law with the Epstein Files. Is this going to be on the Justice Department website? What are you doing here over the next 30 days, as we understand it?
We will continue to follow the law with maximum transparency while protecting victims.
When you say follow the law, Madam Attorney General, do you mean that you will provide all the files by 30 days?
We will follow the law. The law passed both chambers last evening. It has not yet been signed, but we will continue to follow the law, again, while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
They are such a sad sack. They are really just a sad lot. This is the how it's going meme of the how it started, how it's going. That's what this looks like. Look at Cash Patel. He's still a stone. Oh boy.
Look at crazy eyes back there.
Yeah, look at it back there. Okay, so what she's talking about, when she says we'll follow the law, is this: why the Epstein Files won't be released as soon as the law is passed. President Trump may soon sign the Epstein Files bill into law, but don't expect his administration to actually release documents quickly. The bill's loopholes for active investigations and national security give Trump officials broad cover to delay or heavily redact documents. The Epstein Files Transparency Act's language outlines how the Attorney General could hold off from sharing the files. The bill says that any records or information that would jeopardize an active federal investigation or prosecution can be withheld or redacted. Now, there is language in the House bill that such withholding is supposed to be temporary, but that is a word that could be exploited as much as the executive branch wants it to be. And the only people who could do anything about it are the Congress people who passed the Transparency Act in the first place, meaning they would have to impeach Donald Trump and Pam Bondi, which I would argue is a necessary step if it comes to that. Pam Bondi should be impeached right now. And if you have any doubts about that, you have to listen to this answer here. This is just incredible, where she is asked, hey, what changed? Because remember, you guys released that memo in July saying this case was closed. And so why now are we releasing more files and doing more investigations? What happened between now and then?
Madam Attorney General, the DOJ statement earlier this year saying that the files would not release mentioned the fact that the review of the documents and the evidence did not suggest that any additional investigation of third parties was warranted. What changed since then that you launched this investigation?
Information that has come for information. There's information, new information, additional information.
New
and
information.
again, we will continue to follow.
Complicated case, Maud. A lot of ins, a lot of outs. You're not hip to all the new shit. That's what Cash Patel should have said. It's a complicated case, Maud. A lot of ins, a lot of outs. There's new information has come to light. new shit has come to light?
Information that has come for information. There's information new information, additional information, and again, we will continue to follow the law, to investigate any leads. If there are any victims, we encourage all victims to come forward.
Yeah. That is some of the most brazen bullshit I've ever heard anyone say into a microphone. And I've now done this for a living for a few years. I've been following politics since I was a kid. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite as shameless in my entire life. New information has come to light. When? When? Because this was the memo that started all of this. Remember, this was back in July. You guys started all of this. It was the DOJ and the FBI that got this whole shitstorm brewing when they decided to send a memo saying that Epstein had no client list, died by self-deletion, and essentially this is now a cold case. It's a dead case. There's no more relevant information that needs coming out. And now you're saying 4 months later, the day after the House is forced by the president to pass this bill, because Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene basically cucked the entire Republican Party into bending the knee. Now you're saying that new information has come. Okay, so if new information has come to light, where was the memo? You put a memo out 4 months ago saying nothing more to see here, and now you're telling us that new information has come to light. So if new information had come to light, why wasn't there a follow-up memo? Because, of course, no new information has come to light. The information that they have now is the same information that they had months ago. It's the same information that they are intent on covering up. That is obviously true. And so if you're looking at Pam Bondi and Kash Patel now, that answer there, where she says new information has come to light, means either one of two things must be true. Either this memo was born of shocking incompetence and negligence to declare the Epstein case essentially closed before you had enough information gathered to make that conclusion, or you're covering it up and lying about it now. So if the former is true, you should be fired. And if the latter is true, you should be impeached by Congress. Those are the only two options. It doesn't make sense that you would do any other thing, because for her to say new information has come to light is such an obvious crock of shit. And even if it isn't a crock of shit, it means this memo should have never been sent in the first place. It is just really, really shocking. A stunning answer. And it's such an unnecessarily stupid answer. All she had to say was, look, we don't think there's anything new to release, but the law was passed, so I guess we'll give you what we got. No new information has come to light. We did our investigation. We stand behind our work, and we'll let you guys see it and make that determination for yourselves. That may not have gone well in the long run. I don't think it would have, but it's a more savvy answer than this. When you say new information has come to light, you're admitting that you either closed the case prematurely or you lied. That is an unbelievable answer to give. Well, new information has come to light. And speaking of crazy eyes, Kash Patel, this is in September. So this is the interim between the memo and where we are now. This is him being asked by John Kennedy here. I think that's his name. Pretty sure that's his name.
Yeah, John Paul Kennedy.
John Paul Kennedy. If there's any credible info that Epstein trafficked victims to others.
Most of the files. Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information.
Wow.
If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked
sure you would,
to other
Cass.
individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So
that was in September. So a July memo gets sent saying no new information. He backs that up as late as September. So you're telling me in the last 60 days, new information has come to light, but you didn't bother saying anything about it until, coincidentally, the House passed the Epstein Transparency Act and the Senate pushed it through with unanimous consent. And it's now on the doorstep of becoming law. This is when, by coincidence, you decide to reveal that new information has come to light. That is really, I mean, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything more brazen than that. That is as shameless a load of bullshit as I have heard maybe ever.
Yeah, Pam Bondi is the two-headed goat in the freak show that is the Trump cabinet. It is just a collection of freaks, weirdos, and crackpots because nobody with a reputation to protect would agree to work for this president because they understand what the job is going to entail. They understand how likely it is that they're going to wind up being prosecuted for things that they're going to end up having to do to keep that job for a man who really doesn't give a shit about them, who has destroyed the careers and reputations of anybody who's ever shaken hands with him, really, and come to work in the previous administration. So who do you wind up with? You wind up with people with nothing to lose. You wind up with Bondi, who no real president would ever give that job to. Right? You wind up with Crazy Eyes Cash Patel, a guy so fucking nuts. He writes a children's book about himself as a knight protecting King Donald. Somebody that mentally unstable has no shot at being the head of the FBI. That's like you took some creepy fan fiction shipper weirdo and you just put him in charge of the FBI. Literally, that's what he did. Hegseth the drunk in charge of the Defense Department. You can't make it up, man. It's like a Bill Murray parody from the 70s about Bill Murray as a completely out of control president and appointing his friends to be his cabinet. And that's what you get, man. You get what you pay for. You get the kind of person who's going to be willing to work for a president like that, and Pam Bondi fits that bill. Her job there is not to be an independent, credible attorney general. Her job there is to give North Korea levels of submission to Donald Trump and whatever the fuck he tells her to go out there and do. And that's what she does. A lot of these people are going to end up in prison. I'm increasingly convinced of that, which is not to say, oh, the Democrats are good. But they are setting themselves up in a way that I don't think they're going to get a lot of people from their team to protect them when those prosecutions come. I think they're going to wind up being such a despised embarrassment to the entire political class that there's not going to be anybody there to come save them.
Yeah, and understand, Pam Bondi is a woman who can ruin any one of our lives if she wants to. That's what the Attorney General's job is to do, is to ruin people's lives using the law as a weapon. She has immense power over every single one of us. Do we trust a person like that with that kind of power? Does she deserve prosecutorial power? A person who just lies like that so brazenly to protect an international sex trafficking ring? And look, I'm equal opportunity. That guy who was running for attorney general in Virginia, who wrote the text messages about how, he hopes that his Republican kids die. I don't think that guy should have been voted in as AG. I think he should have withdrawn. On either side of the aisle, it doesn't matter. The attorney general is a very serious responsibility. They have prosecutorial power over people. They can fuck your life up whenever they want. That is their job. That's why these prosecutors are the most vicious people on earth. That's why Kamala Harris, tried to lock up the parents of truant kids. Like this is what their job is. Right. And so, do you trust a person? Like, if you have prosecutorial power over people in that way, I think you have to pass a pretty strict character test. And someone who would lie like that, they're not fit for the job. They're not fit for the job. They either need to be fired or they need to be impeached, because either that memo was sent out of extreme incompetence or intentional deceit. I think we all know which of those two it was. I think we all know which of those two it was. But either way, she's got no business being there, and neither does the lunatic standing over her left shoulder there, because he's on that memo too.
Well, nobody who would sit at a table with the president, with the press there, and gush. And because of the things that our wonderful president has done, and I want to thank you, President Trump, that's not qualified. That's not what an attorney general is supposed to be. That's not what they're supposed to do. I mean, we're not naive about this. We're not going to say that all these attorney generals have been completely independent of the president in the way that they should be, and there's no discussion behind the scenes. But at this point, you're completely throwing out any premise or standard of independence. You're just getting rid of that standard for
Right.
the attorney general. It's like, yeah, corporate media might suck, but there is a standard that ostensibly they're supposed to meet that you can call them out for not meeting. Hey, these are not the facts. Did
Right.
you fact check this? Part of the problem we have now that we can see with independent media is anyone can say anything. And what that has led to is not something better than corporate media. It's like corporate media without any standards.
Right. I mean, how do you think we got here? Why
That's
do you think we're sitting here?
that's our career.
Yeah.
I mean,
Anyone
that's
can say
what
anything.
I mean, I should probably just shut up now, actually.
Yeah. Blowing up our whole gig.
I'm blowing up the grip.
All right. Why don't we you want to take that batch of chats there? Oh, is it my turn, right? It's my
Yeah, it's your turn, isn't it?
Here we go. All right. GDNPB says, did you guys know that Trump is a Russian agent? I'm sure Comey and Brennan forgot about the files for 4 years and kept them clean. Is Maddow banging on her set yelling, "We've got him again"? I don't know. Maddow's not in the news anymore. What did she take another?
She's really not.
I haven't
She's
seen
really not.
anything from her. David Bauer, the Epstein vote is not a repudiation of Donald J. Trump. This is the U.S. Congress pushing back on Michael Tracy. This is all the stick it to Michael Tracy. Good one. Peter Monahan says, I'm sorry for you, but there's help out there, Randy, for revolution. I have stage 4 tonsillar cancer and have my throat entirely removed twice and cannot swallow anymore. But help is out there in my prayers. That's very kind of you, Peter. And obviously keep in touch with us. You always do. Sound Chaser, how in the world did Plaskett get on the Ways and Means and Intelligence Oversight Committees? That's what I want to know. Well, she's coming up next, I think, right?
Yep.
Clint Griffin says Clay Higgins has hilarious Crime Stoppers videos, at least. Brad Gilbert says, who has cash whipped more, Blondie or the honeypot? Ha ha, good one. Mark Dansky, when they say victims, they mean blackmailed PDFers. There you go. All righty, we'll move right on along.